Hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm McKenna Sage, and we are live with Money Mindset Secrets: How to Feel Wealthier and Attract More Abundance into Your Life and Business. I'm so excited for this call topic. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, and I think such an important one because a lot of the time, what I find is that, and I've fallen into this in the past myself, by the way, a lot of time what I find is that people want to learn all the strategies to make more money, grow their business, etc. But when it comes to what really, really moves the needle, strategy is only one part of things. And in fact, I would venture to say it is a smaller part of things. And that the most important, what would you say, the most important factor in really growing your income and growing your business, if you have one, is your mindset. And so that's why I wanted to start out with this quote, which I shared in the invitation to this live, which is from Sara Blakely. And she is the billionaire founder of the company Spanx, and just an incredible success story. She built that business up from nothing with no investment money. And she says the mindset is the single most important thing you have as an entrepreneur. Work on it daily. So incredible. And she's one of many, 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 many entrepreneurs. I just actually read an email the other day, which is where I saw that quote from a very successful entrepreneur himself who was sharing all these different examples and entrepreneurs who talk about the importance of mindset. He said whenever he goes to high level entrepreneurial events, literally every single speaker is talking on mindset, not on strategy. And that's interesting. That's telling, right? That at that level, when people are operating at the multi-million or even billion-dollar level, that they are saying mindset is the most important thing. And so today we're talking about your money mindset and what is your money mindset. So before I get into the topic today, I'd love to hear from you. Those of you tuning in live, say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And let me know, do you have a specific question or challenge around money mindset that you are curious to get answered or to learn about today? The more interactive we make these calls, these lives, the better. It's always a lot of fun when we can make them super interactive. So, when it comes to earning and receiving more, most entrepreneurs are focused on strategy. They want to know what are the newest marketing hacks or what is so and so doing, and should I be doing that too? And we want to really take a look at the strategy is important, but how many of you have ever had the experience? Hi, Suzanne, great to see you. Hi, Marie. Quebec City, wonderful. Suzanne's in Switzerland, always a global audience on these lives, which I love. Who else is tuning in today live? Go ahead and say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. So, when it comes to strategy, um, it is important, but how many of you have had the experience where you have known what you need to do or known like the steps to take in any area of your life, right? Whether it's growing your business or it's, let's say, losing weight or getting more in shape. How many of you had the experience where you know what you could or should be doing to move the needle forward, but you're not actually doing it? Say me in the chat if you've ever had that experience. Or maybe you're not having it currently, but you've had it in the past, right? Where you know what you should be doing or could be doing that would get you results, but you're not actually doing it. I know for a fact that I've had that experience plenty of times, and most people I talk to have as well. Yeah, I'm getting some me's in the chat. So, what is that about? That is mindset because we can know the strategies and know the action steps. And in my experience, most people these days, one of my coaches called it being infobese, like obese, but infobese, that we have so much information available to us now. So much. You can go online and YouTube and Google and chat GPT all of your questions and get all kinds of strategies and tips and hacks and actions that you can take to make more money and grow your wealth and your abundance in your business. So, why doesn't that work? Or why isn't it working to the level that you might like it to be working? That's what we're talking about today. And the answer is mindset. So, specifically, let's talk about money a little bit because that's our topic today. So, money mindset, first of all, money, I want you to understand and maybe write this down. Money is all made up. It's all made up. There's no such thing as money in one sense. There is, we've created it, and it has energy and it's become something very real. But at its essence, right? We started with exchange. People used to barter and exchange. And then there came a point at which we no longer only wanted to barter, right? I was just listening to a great money course the other day, and she gave this example. And she said, if I didn't want your potatoes, then what do I do? And so we created money to create a value exchange so that I didn't have to take your potatoes in exchange for my turnips. I could give you money, and then we gave that value. So, money, as Marie's saying in the chat here, money is energy, it's currency, it is a current of energy. It's all made up. Now, you may have heard that before, but I really want you to get that that is so liberating because there is unlimited money available. There's unlimited energy and currency available. It's all made up. And there are 8 billion people on the planet at this point. And sure, not all of them have a ton of money, but there are so many people with so much money and so much abundance. I was just on yesterday online and I clicked on one of those, pictures that drew me in with the title that's kind of clickbait, but I was scrolling through and it was about wedding dresses from different celebrities and public figures. And there were these wedding dresses ranging anywhere from, $30,000 up to 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, $1 million wedding dress. And I was like, wow, there is so much money in the world. So much money. And that is my belief more and more and more. The more money mindset I've, I don't even like the word work, but the more I've practiced money mindset, the more I see evidence everywhere that there's so much money in this world, unlimited abundance available to you. And so that is a core belief that I hold, and that we live in an abundant universe. And I want to share this quote from Wayne Dyer, which is loving people live in a loving world, and hostile people live in a hostile world. Same world. I'm going to say that one more time. Loving people live in a loving world. Hostile people live in a hostile world. Same world. So, what is he saying there? What is he saying there? That the way we see things, the way we experience the world, the energy that we hold gets reflected back to us. And money is the same way. Money is not actually something that exists outside of you. When you are in alignment with money vibrationally, and I'm going to talk about this in terms of energy and vibration, which is more the woo side, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it from a more, let's say, scientific standpoint, or a less woo standpoint. That way, if you're not in the woo camp, then you can still relate to this in a way that makes sense to you. I'm curious, those of you watching, who here it's like open to the woo, just type woo in the chat. And who here feels like you're a little less woo, you can say less woo in the chat. Woo is WOO. And if you don't know what I mean by woo, it's just open to more of the energetic conversation, the vibration conversation, and manifestation. I like to get a little bit of a read on my audience here so I can speak to everyone. Typically, the people we work with have a little bit more openness to the woo. So far, you guys are saying you do, which is great. All right, Clay's got a little bit of woo. She's a little more on the practical side, which is great. So in this, I'm going to give both examples. So the way attracting anything works, if we're talking more on the manifestation, vibration, energetic side, is like attracts like. And we attract not what we want, but what we are. So I want you guys to notice that distinction because a lot of people talk about attracting what you desire or what you want, but in that there is actually inherently an energy of, I do not have this. Do you understand that? When we say, I want this money, I want this relationship, I want this, whatever it might be, something outside of me that I want, and you're feeling into that, there is an energy inherently of, I do not have this on some level. Is everybody following what I'm saying there? So we're not saying, oh, I want this and I know I get to have it. And it's something that is coming to me. And I'm so clear and aligned and in the vibration of that. And there's no sliver of doubt in my mind. That is alignment. When we're saying, I want this thing, and oh, but there's this little part of me that doesn't know if I get to have it, or doesn't know if that's meant for me, or doesn't, then that energy is out of alignment with what you desire to attract. Okay? So in this, like attracts like, we actually attract what we are, the energy, the vibration that we are in. And so the most powerful tool for creating and manifesting more of what you want is gratitude. It's gratitude. There's a great book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and she talks about the power of this. She was one of the people who was interviewed on The Secret years ago, and The Secret made a huge splash, but a lot of people were like, oh, there were a lot of things that they didn't align with about it, and there were missing pieces, and one of the pieces is this piece of gratitude, and she wrote a whole book about it with practices you can do to get into the energy of gratitude for what you already have, which is where it begins, and then you can start to enjoy and experience and align to gratitude for what is coming into your life that you might not see and have in the tangible sense yet, but without a doubt is coming. And that is where the power comes in terms of attracting and manifesting more of what you want, including money. Now, let's go to a little bit more of the scientific or the less woo version of this. Is remember that quote I shared that, loving people live in a loving world, hostile people live in a hostile world, same world. Well, from the same standpoint, have any of you ever had the experience where you've bought a car or decided you want a car and you're like, I want that, red, I don't know, Mazda Miata is what I'm thinking of, okay? My mom drives a gray Mazda Miata, so I want that red Mazda Miata, and you're excited about it and you decide you want it, and then you go out and suddenly you start seeing red Mazda Miatas everywhere. Has anybody ever had this experience? You become more aware, or this desire, or maybe you've already bought the car, you buy the Mazda Miata, and then you go out and you're like, wow, there's so many Mazda Miatas everywhere. Say yes in the chat if you've ever had this experience. So what's happening there? Well, our brain suddenly became aware of something. There's a concept that you learn in NLP, like neuro-linguistic programming. I did a certification years ago, and I don't use most of what I learned in that certification, but this concept stuck with me, which is that our brains are bringing in, or there's so much information coming in every single millisecond. There's numbers to back all this up, but I don't know them off the top of my head. But there is literally just a flood of information coming into our awareness through our senses at any given moment. It would be completely overwhelming to our minds, to our brains, to try to be aware of all of that information at once. You guys understand this? Are you following me so far? So what happens is we do three things according to NLP, which is a very science brain-based approach to kind of personal development. We delete, we distort, and we generalize. Delete, distort, and generalize. So what that means is that we literally have all this information coming in, and then we delete out of our conscious awareness a huge percentage of that information. And we distort, meaning we see through the lens of what of our experience is how we also take in information. So if you see the world as hostile, then you're going to distort and focus on the things in that are coming into your awareness that are more hostile, like the bad news in the world, and the bad thing that somebody said to you, and how they, this person's fighting with this person. Like, that's where your brain is going to go, instead of also seeing the parts that are loving and great and what's really working. And by the way, we have something called a negativity bias in our brain that also looks for the negative, and it's biologically hardwired into us. And so there's many different factors going on here. So we're deleting, we're distorting for it to like fit our view of the world, because that's the way our brains work. And we're generalizing. We're like putting categories of things together and grouping them together so that we can make sense of this flood of information that's coming into us at any given moment. Are you guys following me so far? If so, type following in the chat. I want to make sure that this isn't kind of going above your heads, that everybody's with me on this. So what's happening here is we are taking in all this information, we're deleting, distorting, generalizing, and our brain is sorting through to go, what is important to us, what fits our worldview, right? And so we're creating more in a sense of the same. So whatever beliefs we have about money, whatever experience, beliefs, like what our life has created, that is the way we see and experience money and wealth and abundance, becomes even more of our reality because of the way our brains work. Do y'all see how this is a little bit less woo? We're starting to get into a more scientific approach to understanding why we're getting more and more of the same experience. So, let's see, I forgot to put my phone on silent here. In this, what else do I want to say about the scientific approach here? Oh, I thought I had some notes on it. Oh yeah, here. So our subconscious is always looking for evidence of what we believe to be true, and it's finding evidence for that. The other thing is our subconscious mind is always trying to keep us safe. Wow, I only got one following. Is everybody else like totally lost? Can you just tell me in the chat, say either with me or say lost, or let me know if you have a question specifically, because I see a bunch of you watching and I only got one following in the chat. So just tell me either with me, following, or totally lost. Here's my question. So our subconscious minds are always trying to keep us safe. This is another concept I talk about a lot, is that, when we were living in caves and there were wild animals out there, then we were programmed for safety. For, of course, we had to go out and eat and survive. So we were wired for survival. And so our brains, as part of the negativity bias, is that our brains were always looking for the threat, or looking for, how to keep us safe. And yeah, we had to go out. Part of safety was going out and finding food, but we would do what we had to do for that, and then we would figure out a way to stay safe. So our brains are literally wired for safety. But what's happened as we have grown and developed through millennia is that, we're not, most of us, being confronted by wild animals anymore. Yet we're still having this part of our brains that is trying to keep us safe all the time. And so what does safe mean now to your brain? Well, if you are fed and you are relatively warm, fed, you have a place to sleep, then you are safe in many ways according to your brain. And so it says, okay, we are safe right now. Anything outside of what we are currently experiencing is not safe. The unknown is not safe. And so we create more and more and more of the same experience, even when we want to make a change, because it is unknown, and a very, what would you call, like, ancient part of our brains is going, unknown equals unsafe. We know this cave, we know it's safe. We know that path, we know there's no wild animals there. We know that this sound means, right? So this part of our brain is still working, saying, we don't want to change anything major here. Even if you are like, well, I can't really pay my bills, that's not safe, right? Well, then, yes, you're going to go to survival instinct of what do I need to do to get out there and make some money? But you're going to do it within a line of thinking that feels safe to you. So if going out there to apply for that $100,000 job doesn't feel safe, then you're going to go out and you're going to apply for a job making $15 an hour. You guys understand? So even though we're like, of course we want to be out of this position that we're in and making more and earning more, to our brains that is unknown and unsafe. Are you following me still? If so, say with you. Thank you for the followings in the chats. So this is the more scientific approach. I just wanted to share a little bit about that. I'm not going to go too much more into it because for time's sake, I want to get into some of the other things we're going to talk about. But I wanted to give you a framework for understanding this, not just from an energetic vibrational level, but from a more scientific and brain-based level. Okay, great. Now that we have that covered, let's talk about your relationship with money. So what is your relationship with money? I want you to think about this right now. Imagine that money were, this is one of my favorite ways I've heard it said, imagine money were your lover. Money is your lover or your partner. You're in this relationship with money. And what would that relationship be? And I want you to type it in the chat if you're open to it. It's a little vulnerable, but how do you think about money? How do you talk about money? How do you talk about your money? Would that lover, would that partner be like, yeah, baby, we've got a great, passionate love affair going on here? Or would it be saying something very different? Go ahead and type in the chat. What is your current relationship with money? It's really important to face into this. Is money something that you celebrate and you spend time with and you're intimate with and you are grateful for on a daily basis? And as it flows in and flows out, you have so much gratitude and just love for your money? Or is it something that you complain about? You know, you're always feeling like there's never enough. You're kind of wanting to avoid it and not even go there. What is your relationship with money right now? Avoidant, loving, connected, grateful. Put a few words in the chat of what that is. I want you to really be honest with yourself. Suzanne says with love. Awesome. So in that, and Suzanne, I know you've attracted a lot of incredible abundance into your life, right? So that's working. It's happening. It's being reflected back to you. And if there is a desire for more, which I imagine there is for all of you here on the call today, for even more abundance, for even more, then it's important to look at, is that true across the board for you or for any of you, right? Or are there areas in which you get to grow with your relationship with money? Could it be even better? Are there areas in which you aren't 100% aligned in love and gratitude and appreciation in the knowing of more is coming? And that is where the practice begins. So Nina says, why does the brain sometimes go from determined and wanting to do or create something, and at other times the brain questions it? I like when I have 100 pounds or more in an account, start panicking when I'm under 100. So you've decided then, Nina, that your minimum is 100 pounds. And the universe will typically align to that minimum. You will make sure most of the time that you don't have less than 100 pounds in your account, because that is what you've decided is your energetic minimum. Some people's energetic minimum is $10,000 in their account. Some people it's $1 million. And I wanted to speak to this a little bit, that we have clients that have literally millions of dollars and still have fear and stress around money. So this kind of speaks to your point, Nina, is their mindset has not upgraded. to go, wow. And so in that, if you are creating this artificial point of 100 pounds, right? First of all, notice how low you're setting the bar there for yourself. It's nothing wrong with that, but you could set it higher and say, I am aligning to far more than that as a minimum in my bank account. And it's like, does the panicking help you, or is that just perpetuating more of the same? It sounds like you're really determined. I believe you're saying you're more determined when you are you saying we have more determined when you have less, or you're more determined when you have more? If you clarify that for me, then I can answer that question a little bit better. Who else? I haven't gotten from anyone else. I guess it's a vulnerable question, but just share a couple words. You don't have to talk deeply about your relationship with money, but this is super important, is what is your relationship with money right now? Put a couple of words in the chat. The other thing is about your beliefs about money. So if you think about, a lot of times we go back to, what are your beliefs from childhood? What did your mother or your father or your school teachers or your church, what kinds of ideas did you take on about money? That, money is the root of all evil, or money is good or bad, or people who have money are greedy or selfish, or you have to work hard for money. That was one of my big ones for a long time, and I am still fully like releasing the last tendrils of that one to align to money gets to be easy. Money gets to be, I heard this one yesterday. I love it. Money is as easy as breathing. Yes, I'm a yes to that belief. That is one that I am taking on for myself. And I've gone in first and looked at what are some of those not so great beliefs around money. So go ahead and type in the chat, what are some of the less positive beliefs around money that you see playing out in your life right now, or that you have taken on, and no matter how hard you try, they're still in there. Go ahead and type a belief about money that is, let's say, I don't love the word negative, but let's say less positive belief around money that you have right now, or that you took on as a child, or you see playing out in your life. When you think about creating more, attracting more, aligning to more wealth and abundance in your life, what thought or fear or doubt comes up to say, I don't know if I get to have that, or yes, but only if I work hard for it, or some people get to have that and I don't. Some people are just lucky. So type in the chat. I feel like I'm having like internet slowdown issues or something, since I'm not getting engagement on some of these questions, and I feel so lost. No, I'm kidding. Please share, because this is going to really help us make this interactive. So what are some of those beliefs? And maybe you're sitting there like really in this thinking and in this experiencing, what has my belief been about money? What was I taught about money as a kid that's still playing out in my life today? So if you're just deep in the reflection, then I honor that completely. And I really encourage you to engage here, because we don't want this to just be a passive learning experience. As I say on these videos all the time, we want you actively involved. So the main thing here is, when you see your beliefs about money that no longer serve you, then you want to ask the question, are these serving me? How are they working out for me? And do I want to keep them, or do I want to reprogram them? So make a little mental note of that right now, is some of the beliefs that you're writing down, and I hope you're writing them down even if you're not writing them in the chat. Are these serving me? Do I want to continue having this belief or not? So we talked a lot about, we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. I think I covered that one actually. So imagine if you believed differently. Imagine if you believed, like I shared before, that money comes as effortlessly as breathing. Everybody pause and take a deep breath. Breathe in and sigh out. Now that was a conscious breath. If you haven't done it, do it now. But we know and we trust that there is infinite air and oxygen available to us. We don't sit around going, oh my gosh, what if my next breath doesn't come? I mean, most people don't, unless you have anxiety around that. So imagine that money were the same way. Imagine you don't even have to think about breathing. Like you can take a conscious breath and enjoy that feeling and that sensation of being aware of your breath. But imagine if money felt as easeful in the sense that you don't even have to consciously be paying attention and it's flowing into your life in and out with ease. How would your life be different? How would your life be different? Nina says, I see involving others in financial matters puts me on the defensive. I'm not sure if I follow what you're saying there, Nina, so feel free to share a little bit more about that. Is that one of your beliefs you're saying? Or is that something else? So, those of you watching, imagine that money felt as easy as breathing. You had this full trust that just like taking your next breath, it just would flow into your life with ease. How would your life be different if you truly believe that into the very cells of your being? Share in the chat, how would your life be different? Whatever the beliefs are that you shared, if those were different, if you didn't believe you had to work hard to make money, if you believed that money was easeful and effortless, how would your life be different? If instead of believing money was evil, you believe that money is a tool and a beautiful, incredible tool for good. And of course it can be used for good or evil, right? It's just a tool, it's just an energy. And whatever the person, the intention of the person who has it, that is what it reflects. That is what it can be used for. So we're imagining that things are different. And I teach a whole process for how to actually shift these beliefs that we don't have time to get into today because we're actually already over time here. So I just want you to begin with imagining the belief has changed and feeling, even if you don't know what would change in your life, just being in that opening of how powerful that could be for you. And if you see something, you can write it down. Suzanne says I could be more generous. I love that. So in what ways would you be more generous? Get really specific. That's the other thing is money loves a why. Money loves a clear why, not just I desire this, I'm attracting this, it's coming in because I want to, purchase these items that are going to make my life richer, because I get to show up and be in service in a greater way, because I get to donate and give to causes that I believe in. Money loves a why. So what is your why? And get really specific. If you want to be more generous, then how? What kind of money do you want to give and to whom and to what causes and what people, and how will that feel? So the more you start aligning to this energy instead of the energy of what you don't have and your fears and your doubts and your frustrations, the more you will attract what you are in the vibration of there. So mindset is so important. Are you guys getting? If so, say getting it in the chat. If you're getting how important mindset is to not just to money, but to everything you desire to create and attract in your life. Health, wealth, a phenomenal relationship, a thriving business, fulfillment and creativity. Because of the way our minds work and because of the way the energy and vibration of the universe works, this is critical work. If you are leaving this out of your approach to growing your business, then this is a piece that gets to be looked at and reflected on very, very much. And it's why in my course, I've mentioned a couple times in these last couple weeks, I have a new course coming out. I'm super excited about it. It's called Simplified Business Bootcamp. Simplified Business Bootcamp, because so many people are out there running around doing all these different marketing strategies or knowing what they should be doing and not actually taking the actions and getting stuck. And I wanted to create a course that shows the best of what I've learned in my decade plus of entrepreneurship. I have been making six figures plus for 8 or 9 years now. We've been, at the high multiple six figure level for multiple years now. And I've done that in two different industries, in marketing, having my own business in marketing, and then in coaching. And I've learned so much about what is important to really grow your business to that thriving level. And so I've created this program. I'm creating and birthing this program through me right now. And it's going to be available very soon. If you're curious about it, type bootcamp in the chat here. Make sure we're friends on Facebook. I always say this, or I won't be able to send you a message to get on the wait list. Actually, you know what? I can even just drop the wait list link into the chat since it's available now. I used to have to do this manually. But if you're curious about this, go join the wait list because you'll be the first to know when it's all announced. But what I want to share about that is that the whole first module, which is a very meaty module, is dedicated to mindset. And people might go, well, that's a waste, right? I just want to get in and learn all the strategies. And I say, whoa, 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 whoa. Take a pause here. You guys are seeing from this call today how important mindset is. Is that entrepreneurship is a personal development journey. It is for me, a spiritual journey. If you're not spiritual, that's okay, but it is a growth path. And in that, you are going to have emotional ups and downs, and you are going to have so much learning and growth and development. And when your mindset is strong, like Sara Blakely said, we'll bring it back to her, the quote that I shared at the beginning of the call today, mindset is the single most important thing you have as an entrepreneur. Work it daily. So if you want to learn the best of the best mindset secrets that I have learned over my decade plus of entrepreneurship and learn the skills. So it's less about strategy. We will teach some strategy in that course, but it's more about the skills that you get to learn and master to be a successful entrepreneur. Skills like the art of the invitation, which is how do you actually make great invitations, whether online, in person, that have people say yes to working with you. Skills like, what are the different marketing approaches that really fit for you, and going out there and knowing some strategies and some approaches. So it has to do with your own clarity. What are your gifts? Who are you here to serve? It has to do with your mindset. It has to do with getting out there and knowing how to make those invitations, feeling confident in making those invitations, and then we can get into some strategies. So we cover all of this. It's a 12-week program, 10 modules, 12 weeks. And if you're curious about it, Nina, I saw you typed bootcamp in the chat here. Make sure you go to that link that I put here, go.followyouraliveness.com/S, like in Sam, SBB dash waitlist. It's a long link. So if you want to go, it's a lot easier if you just go to the chat, or if you typed bootcamp in the chat here, make sure that we are friends on Facebook or that you've sent me a friend request, and I will send you that link. Okay, biggest takeaways from today. I'd love to hear from you. What are you taking away from today? What did you see? What was an aha for you? Either around money and how money works, or around the subconscious mind and how it creates our reality, or perhaps it was around your own beliefs and relationship to money and you saw something really powerful there, or maybe something else altogether. Let me know in the chat so we can really anchor in your biggest learnings and ahas from the call today. And if there are any last questions, now is your chance. Please ask it in the chat. I want to make sure I get to everybody's questions here. So I'll wait just a moment because sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. Let's see. Yeah, so the key mindsets, by the way, I mentioned a little bit of this, but so I've built 2 six-figure plus businesses. The first one I was at 6 figures plus for many years. The second one we went to 6 figures. I went from 0 to 150K in my coaching business in 18 months. And then within a couple of years, we were at the $500,000 level. So, and have continued and grown from there. So these are the mindset pieces I'm talking about that came through strategy to some degree, but it really came from the mindset piece and then from owning and knowing my unique gifts and sharing them with the world. Another great concept I'll share, just this last piece while waiting for your ahas, is that one of the I'm going through so many courses about money mindset right now because I'm really passionate about this topic and I've been diving into it for years, but I really decided and got to choose and own that I get to master this now because it's something I feel so passionately about. And so one of the courses I'm in from a teacher called Marcy Locke, she talks about dollars follow value. So the value you are sharing in the world, the more you're showing up and being of service, providing value in the world, the more abundance and money gets to flow into your life. So that is what I'm doing here with these free videos. I do these almost every single week unless I'm traveling, and I have for years now. I show up and I devote not just the 30 minutes to an hour that I'm here with you guys, usually 30, 45 minutes, but I write the emails to invite people and I plan these calls and I really spend time for free just to provide value because I want to be of service. And then, of course, money gets to come back in the ways that it comes back, sometimes directly through these videos, but more often than not through some other complete other way. And so dollars follow value. And the more you're of service in the world, the more abundance gets to flow into your life. And so that's why the Simplified Business Bootcamp, the SBB program that's going to be coming out here, is designed to help you get out of your own way and be of greater service to the world through the mindset and the clarity and the skills, and then last but not least, the strategies that will allow you to go from start to finish, whether you're just starting out or you've been doing what you've been doing for a while and it's not having quite the results that you hoped, from start to finish of how to grow a thriving six-figure or even multiple six-figure soulful service-based business. It's not just for coaches. It is for coaches and consultants, of course, but I have had interior designers and photographers and bookkeepers and all kinds of people utilize the principles in this program. So again, that link is in the chat, and make sure you get on the wait list if that's something you're curious about. All right, Suzanne said, mindset is a process that we need to work on permanently. I love that, Suzanne. And I would say continuously, right? It's this continuously evolving, upgrading experience that we get to have. So less that it's something we have to work on, and everything you said is right on, right? I'm just giving you maybe even other language to think about it and feel into this. Is it's something we get to practice and continue to expand in every single day for the rest of our lives. Nina says, how do you decide on the topics covered in the SBB program, Nina, or in these lives? That's a great question. I'm always open to suggestions, by the way. So if you guys have topics you'd like me to cover in a future live, please message me or put them in the comments here or put them in the main group. I coach a lot of people, and so I usually do it through what I've seen are some of the topics that have made the biggest difference for my clients, or some of the questions and challenges that they're facing that I feel would be of interest and of value to this group. So, and then sometimes I'll do them kind of thematically. So I might have a month or two. Right now, we're really focused on the business side of coaching because I'm in that topic right now, creating my course. So that's what's really alive for me right now. And so I'll have a series of topics. In fact, I can tell you guys some of the upcoming topics here, and then we will close out. So the next topic we're going to cover next week is, let me make sure it's next week. No, next week is a break week because it's President's Day. So it'll be a couple weeks before we do this one, but in early March, we're going to be covering Uncover Your Superpowers and Find Your Niche, or how to stop feeling confused about what you do and who you serve. Then we'll be covering the Confidence Code, feel more confident, get more visible, and grow your business. We'll cover how to grow your business without paid ads and complicated marketing, pivot, so how to replace your income through your business so you can quit your day job. Lots of business related topics in the next few weeks. That's a great question though, Nina. And what I'm going to do is also put in here the ad event link, which is a software where you can just click one link and then it will add all of our lives to your calendar so you don't miss any of them in the future. So that ad event link is there in the chat, and you can grab that if you want to add these all to your calendar so you never miss a live. Okay, I try to keep these to 30 minutes, but they usually end up being closer to 45. So thank you all for sticking with me. Great to see you. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you all next time. Bye.